Idris Elba and John Cena team up in Prime Video's action extravaganza Heads of State. They're absurd and charismatic, with just the right amount of bravado. But does the film work? When the UK Prime Minister and US President become the targets of a foreign adversary, they're forced to rely on one another to thwart a global conspiracy. So in a planned twist on reality, John Cena plays a former action movie star who becomes President of the United States, with no public service experience, but an infectious smile and lovable personality to make him a favorite with his constituents, unlike some other people we know. But I'm sure Cena is really an extremely likable and just full of sincerity person, because what we get is this guy we'd always want on our side. And my man crush, Idris Elba, the side, it's great to watch him just play alongside Cena once more. Elba's a reserved and cautious politician, erring on the seriousness of a proper British bloke that contrasts perfectly with Cena's grandiose persona. Now, the bromance between the duo, it is believably snarky, and their shared charisma lets us know they fully understand the assignment and play it up so that they can be antagonistically chummy. Their comedic timing feels honed and natural. I mean, they must have had a lot of fun with the production because they are consistent with their delivery and they don't miss beats to play up the ridiculousness. And because they've already demonstrated through other works that they can effectively carry out action scenes, it really is a lot of fun to put them in more of an everyman situation where they have to shrug off action hero status and kind of haphazardly feel their way through precarious situations. Now, sometimes they're clumsy, especially with Cena, but it all adds to the charm of the characters. The number of big-name actors who appear is surprising and awesome. Never mind Idris Elba and John Cena, we get performances, however brief, from Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Patty Considine, Carla Gugino, Stephen Root, Jack Quaid, Sarah Niles, and Sharlto Copley. Now, this is wickedly cheesy and just over the top in about every scenario. It plays heavily on satirizing action movies, while also being a bit cheeky when it comes to politics and political leaders. The characters and the scenes, they're played out melodramatically, allowing the characters to just ham it up and create exaggerated emotion. But despite a lot of the theatrics from the players, the villains, they remain nameless and very average. When Cena and Elba are being chased, the baddies after them may be relentless, but they're also just henchmen who are so expendable they only enhance the fun and not the story. And the true villains are rote with lackluster motivations. But despite the commonplace villainous lineup, the story remains mainly unaffected, at least where fun is involved. What is normally a lazy trope, this has several exposition dumps, but at least they're unloaded through a series of flashbacks while characters are still progressing forward. This type of info, it maintains the momentum and then it doesn't waste our time while also keeping the storytelling entertaining. When this happens too, the flashbacks, the scenes typically look like they came out of a Wes Anderson film. While that is strange, they somehow work with the overall silliness and the flow of the movie. Typically, a story that is so far-fetched and unbelievable, combined with quirky humor and overblown action, would become grating, even stupid. Surprisingly with this, the camaraderie and chemistry between Elba and Cena, it smooths all regular annoyances over to deliver an easy and amusingly gratifying watch. The plot, it's highly predictable, and it gets a little preachy towards the end with some forced social commentary, but it doesn't overshadow all of the enjoyment that comes before it. Heads of State is what other huge-budget streaming action films like Red Notice or Six Underground attempted, but failed to effectively blend intrigue, stunts, huge action, and genuine comedy all into a satisfying package. Here, the action is excessive, and it's energetic, melding a ton of chaos and wild stunts. Like for instance, there's a car chase that weaves in a fierce and violent close-quarters battle, all while being harried, frenetic, and just plain exciting. And through several of the larger action sets, the scenes are also enhanced through awesome song choices that work to amp up all that's playing out. Even when the songs might be more of a mellow mood, they complement the slow-mo or maybe the dramatic flair of a scene in ways that shouldn't work, but they do. Before the credits, this is an hour and 47 minutes. Shockingly, it doesn't outstay its welcome and it maintains the forward momentum through the entire runtime. And has the benefit of a simple and straightforward plot that doesn't go overly deep. This still provides enough to connect with the cast and have fun with the action, though. And while the cast carries a great deal of the responsibility for the enjoyment, this director has already proven himself more than capable of handling the balance of comedy and action necessary to pull off a story like this. Ilya Naishuller has most notably directed Hardcore Henry and Nobody, both taking advantage of intense action and some wild stunts to create something memorable and energetic. It's no different here. Heads of State, on the outside, looks to be a generic, run-of-the-mill action film, but it continues to surprise with engaging characters, thrilling action, and despite a generic and predictable villain, a survival pursuit story angle that plays to all the strengths of the leads. This was more than a pleasant surprise. I mean, it was a full-on blast to watch. It's easy, silly, and hectic, creating a movie that I'm going to watch over and over again. There's no sex or nudity, some profanity, and a ton of violence. I give Heads of State 4 out of 5 couches. Despite the genericness of the plot, it's just a great time watching. So what are some other action movies that are exciting and enjoyable, even if the story is simple or predictable? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me.